Why now? I remember a good 20 years ago, a famous playwright, political activist and poet, the first Prime Minister of the Czech Republic, saying, without a global shift in human consciousness, the catastrophe towards which the world is now headed will be unavoidable. And here we are, 16, 20 years later, without that shift. It's starting to emerge and we can see the senses of it. Even just over the last 5 or so years in the work I'm in the business settings and organisational development and so forth, I can see the language, the thinking, the concepts that we're open to shifting quite significantly. So I do feel something is bubbling now, and it's timely. It's desperately needed. The challenges that we're facing are underpinned essentially by a deficiency in the way in which we relate to life itself, to ourselves, each other, our sense of place and purpose in this world, which is essentially what we mean by consciousness, our awareness, how we are as human beings and how we're relating with life in the modern human world. So that's why we need to grapple with this shift in consciousness now, because it's fundamental not just to the downstream effects that we're dealing with today, in society and economy and education systems, health and so forth, but also it's primary to the whole way of life, to the fabric of life on Earth. So it's fundamental to ourselves, our ways of business, our children, our future, and the whole of life on Earth. So that's why I think it's an important issue, and why it's one that really needed to be explored this weekend, and also in the previous inquiries we've had with other people here at Barrow Castle. What's interesting about the times we're in at the moment is we've got all these different social movements and catalytic technologies and disruptive innovations bubbling up. And they all are affecting things in very different ways, ripping up the rule book in the way that we do things in many ways. And key to that is this generation coming through, which people refer to as the Millennials or Gen Y, who are digital natives in effect, who are able to apply all these tools around digitization to tap into the power of the socializing network and apply that to the challenges that we're facing today. So we had previous discussions sort of with thought leaders and so forth, and people who had thought deeply about what does a shift in consciousness mean for the times we're in. Now we wanted to be more practical in this particular inquiry with millennials. How can we move that forward into tapping into the catalytic effect of the network, of the web and so forth, to actually come up with solutions that could shift consciousness over the next 6, 12, 18 months to catalyse. So that's what we've been discussing. It's been a hackathon and it's been very exciting. We've come up with different solutions now that people are committing to personally to then take forward. And then we'll check in a few months' time to see which ones of those then need additional funding or need to be seeded in a more mature way going forward.